It was supposed to be a warm, soulful morning on the Today Show when country superstar Chris Stapleton joined Jenna Bush Hager and her co-hosts to promote his new album. From the moment he walked onto the set, the energy in the studio carried that easy glow morning TV was known for. Jenna welcomed him with her trademark warmth, complimenting his latest single and his unmistakable voice. But as the first questions rolled out, the mood shifted. Instead of keeping the conversation light, Jenna steered toward Chris's outspoken views on the country music industry. Known for his quiet humility off stage but his unflinching honesty, when pressed, Chris started with short, clipped replies. The studio audience picked up on the undercurrent immediately. Their polite laughter filled the space, but it couldn't quite cover the tension rising between host and guest. By the third question, Chris's jaw had tightened. His eyes, usually soft beneath the brim of his hat, narrowed just enough for the cameras to catch. It was clear. This wasn't going to be the easygoing interview producers had planned. Jenna tried to keep her tone playful as she asked if Chris believed the country music industry was out of touch with modern audiences. Chris leaned forward, his deep voice dropping a register. "I don't believe it's out of touch," he said slowly. "I know it is." A ripple of gasps spread across the audience. Jenna laughed lightly, hoping to smooth the moment. "Well, that's a pretty bold statement," she said, still smiling at the cameras. Chris didn't smile back. "It's not bold. It's the truth," he continued. "Too many gatekeepers telling artists what they can and can't do, what's marketable and what isn't. The soul of the music gets lost in that process, and I'm tired of pretending like it doesn't happen." The atmosphere in the studio turned on a dime. What had begun as a breezy morning chat now felt like a confrontation playing out in real time. Jenna tried to frame his comments differently, pointing out that some might see his criticism as disrespectful to the traditions of country music. Chris shook his head. "Disrespectful?" His voice carried more steel now. "Respect isn't about protecting a system. It's about protecting the music. If people can't handle honesty, that's not on me." The bluntness silenced the room. The other co-hosts tried to pivot, asking about tour dates and lighter topics, but Chris barely engaged. His frustration showed in every clipped answer, every glance down at the floor. Jenna, still smiling, looked rattled as the cameras zoomed in on her. Then came the question that tipped everything over. Her voice carefully measured, Jenna asked, "But don't you think being this critical could alienate the very fans who've built you up?" Chris slowly removed his hat, rubbed the back of his neck, and looked her in the eye. "The fans built me up because of the music," he said. "Not because I play nice on morning TV. I won't sit here and pretend for anyone." The audience murmured, some gasping, others applauding under their breath. And then, without another word, Chris pushed his chair back. The screech of its legs on the floor echoed in the studio. He stood, set his hat back on his head, and began walking toward the exit. The cameras scrambled to follow him as stagehands froze in place. Chris muttered under his breath as he passed, "I'm done." "Chris, wait! We're live!" Jenna called after him, her voice breaking slightly. But he didn't stop. The studio erupted in chaos. Some audience members clapped in support. Others gasped in disbelief. A few shouted encouragement as Chris disappeared backstage. Millions of viewers at home saw it unfold in real time. What had started as an album promotion had just become live television history. On set, Jenna turned back to the cameras, forcing an awkward laugh. "Well, that was unexpected," she said, cheeks flushed. One of her co-hosts jumped in, scrambling, to redirect the conversation back to the album. But the moment had already swallowed the segment whole. Everyone knew what the real story was now. Chris Stapleton had stormed off the Today Show. Within minutes, clips of the walk-off flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans debated what they'd seen, some cheering Chris for refusing to be pushed, others criticizing him for overreacting to routine questions. Hashtags like Chris Stapleton walks off and Today Show drama shot into the trending lists worldwide. Backstage, producers begged him to return, but he refused. "I came here to talk about music," he reportedly told a staffer, "not defend myself on live TV." His refusal only fueled the storm further. Critics accused the show of ambushing him. Others said Chris should have known tough questions. Come with the territory. By the afternoon, headlines plastered entertainment sites. Chris Stapleton walks off the Today Show after heated clash with Jenna Bush Hager. Talk radio picked up the story. Podcasts debated whether Chris had just sabotaged his career or cemented himself as the most authentic voice in country music. By evening, the walk-off had gone viral far beyond Nashville. Meme accounts remixed the clip. TikTok creators added dramatic soundtracks. Late-night comics mocked the chaos with parody skits. Chris released a short statement through his team. "I will always speak my truth, no matter the setting. Music deserves honesty." The declaration was defiant, unapologetic, and it only deepened the admiration of his fans. Jenna addressed the moment on the following morning's episode of the Today Show. Looking directly into the camera, she admitted, "Live TV doesn't always go as planned. Yesterday was tough, but I have deep respect for Chris and his music." Whether audiences saw it as heartfelt or scripted damage control didn't matter. The viral fire had already spread too far. Over the next few days, the fallout intensified. Country radio hosts debated whether Chris was an outlaw standing against media fluff or a star who'd embarrassed himself by walking out. Blogs ran headlines like Chris Stapleton, outlaw or out of line. CNN and Rolling Stone published think pieces, proof the moment had leapt from morning TV drama to national cultural flashpoint. Behind the scenes, Today Show executives scrambled to contain the damage. Rumors swirled that higher-ups were furious, with Jenna for pressing too hard, while others insisted Chris had been too thin-skinned. Jenna herself went on an evening talk show to clarify. "Our show has always been about celebrating artists," she said carefully. "It was never my intention to upset him," but her polished delivery did little to quiet speculation. Chris stayed silent for nearly 2 days. He skipped appearances, ignored interview requests, and was photographed in Nashville looking weary and guarded. Finally, he broke his silence with a short Instagram video filmed in his studio. Sitting with a guitar in his lap, he spoke directly. "To the camera? I didn't walk off because I was angry," he said. "I walked off because I wasn't being heard. Music is about truth, and if I can't speak my truth, I won't stay in the room." The video went viral instantly, racking up millions of views. Some fellow artists praised him for refusing to bow to TV expectations. One tweeted, "Stapleton just reminded us all what real country looks like." Others criticized him for being unprofessional. Even Kelly Clarkson weighed in indirectly on her show. "Live TV is tough. Sometimes we laugh it off. Sometimes we storm off." She didn't mention Chris by name, but fans didn't need her to talk. Shows across networks scrambled to book Chris for his first post-walk-off appearance. Offers poured in from Good Morning America, The Late Show, even 60 Minutes. But Chris turned nearly all of them down. Instead, he agreed to sit down with a single country music journalist known for fairness and respect. The announcement alone became one of the most anticipated interviews of the year. In the meantime, the walk-off clip kept its grip on popular culture. Fans turned it into TikTok edits, memes, and even animated parodies. Far from damaging his career, the moment gave Chris an unexpected surge of momentum. Ticket sales for his upcoming tour spiked. His album, which had been climbing steadily, suddenly shot to #1. The irony was unmistakable. What was supposed to be a routine, feel-good morning show interview had instead given Chris Stapleton one of the most defining moments of his career. By refusing to play along, by storming off rather than softening his words, he had ignited a conversation bigger than himself, about authenticity, about music, and about what it means to stay true on live television.